Hey friends, it's Leo. Today I'll share a story that happened to me.
I've always liked to exercise.
One year I had moved to a city that offered a lot of activities for kids.
The best part was that it was free. It was so free it even made you sweat.
That's when I got interested in doing karate.
I loved watching action movies and fighting cartoons. That was one of the reasons I decided to learn this martial art. It was held at the gym near my house. I could get there in about 6 minutes. I always went with my little bike. I parked it inside and went to change. There were two groups, one at 8 in the morning and the other at 9. The first group was super crowded. There was barely enough space for all the students on the mat. It was total chaos. When one tried to throw a punch, they'd bump into the person next to them, who would then fall on top of the one behind. That's how the classes were in that group. In the second group, which I joined, there were only 4 kids, including me and 3 siblings.
There were 2 girls and a younger boy. That's when I started training.
We had to do stretching, sit-ups, push-ups, a bunch of things at the beginning of class to build physical conditioning. We learned a bunch of moves I had no idea even existed. Moves with the hands, with the feet. It was crazy, man. There were moments in class when we had to use those moves on punching bags. I remember that the first time the teacher told us to punch the bag, he gave a demonstration. He threw a powerful punch and the thing flew backward. I thought punching that bag would be easy, but it was just an illusion. I threw a punch with all my might.
It felt like I had punched a concrete pillar.
Ouch, man, that thing was really hard, my friend. He taught us a ritual called Kata, which consisted of performing a sequence of moves. If I'm not mistaken, with each belt you had to learn one of those sequences. I have to admit, I barely remember any of that. Then the day came when we had to fight the teacher, man. My God, what a day that was. Everyone had to fight him. So let's do this, right?
Facing an adult who's 6 feet tall with strength, agility, dexterity, vitality plus 10 to strength, agility, dexterity, vitality plus 10, while I was 4 feet tall with strength, agility, dexterity, vitality minus 10 to strength, agility, dexterity, vitality minus 10.
Man, I just remember the scene where I'm going to attack him with a punch minus 10. And he makes the following move in less than a second. He sweeps me. While I'm falling, he throws a punch at me with 0 strength and plus 100 agility. I just felt a breeze on my stomach. And before my back hit the mat, he grabbed my GI and stopped my fall. Whoa, what just happened, my God? This guy must be Bruce Lee. I saw it all in slow motion, but it happened in just 1 second. Another day, we had to fight each other, but I had a problem. The class consisted of me, 2 girls, and a younger boy. And they were all related, like I said before. Brothers or cousins, I don't know. They were family, and nobody wanted to fight each other, so I was the only one left as a target. My God. The teacher made me fight one of the girls. She looked pretty tough, and I really didn't want to fight her because I didn't want to hit a girl. That's when things started to heat up. We started the fight. I was afraid of hurting her, so I didn't throw any strong punches. She, however, started throwing some really strong punches, man, that hit my arms, my shoulders. She didn't care about sportsmanship, man. She just wanted to beat me up and see me on the ground. I was really naive. I couldn't do anything. I ended up taking a punch to the mouth. I remember looking at her face, shocked. Not a bit of sensitivity. We were supposed to be fighting in a healthy way here, man. But is this girl really attacking me for real? What's going on? After taking a bunch of hits and becoming a real punching bag, the teacher stopped the fight.
After that, I never wanted anything to do with karate again.
And I went to do another sport.
Hey guys, this is Leo, and I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me. I've always liked playing sports, and at a certain point in my life,
I had moved to a city that offered a lot of activities.
one of them was skateboarding lessons. The mayor had just built a huge skate park in my neighborhood, and on the opening day, the skate park was packed, and I came across a lot of people doing radical tricks.
I had never ridden a skateboard before.
Until that day. It was really cool, man. People going down those ramps doing some crazy tricks, dude. I remember that day I borrowed a guy's skateboard, and he said the following. "All right, kid, go ahead.
So I got on. Man, as soon as I stepped on it, the skateboard slid to the side and I fell on my butt, man. What the heck, dude?
Oh, kid, you think it's just about getting on and that's it? Riding this board is more than just the obvious. It's about exploring new paths in the best and most enjoyable way possible, you know? And having confidence in your board to explore the coolest spots. It's not just about showing up and riding, my friend. You got a lot to learn, kid. That's when I asked my parents to sign me up for skateboarding lessons. I had already failed at karate classes, but that wasn't going to happen with skateboarding lessons. So I started with the basics. I learned about all the components that make up a skateboard, how to get on one, push without losing balance, go up and down a box, and so on. For those who don't understand, I'll explain. The skateboard is made up of the deck, that wooden part where we put our feet, with grip tape stuck on top to give traction, making it possible for us to do tricks easily. Next comes the truck, which is that metal structure that connects the deck to the wheels. And everyone already knows what the wheels are for, right? And along with them come the bearings, a very important part to make your skateboard go really fast. I say this because when I started out, my dad bought me a really basic skateboard. And in class, when I went down the ramps, I could barely move, man. I looked at my friends and those guys were flying, man, picking up a lot of speed.
I didn't understand until the teacher talked about it that the bearings are important for your board to go fast. I became a skate park rat, my friend. I went to class, learned the tricks, and then at night I would go skate again. I started getting the hang of it, and little by little I was making progress. I wasn't falling every half second anymore. It took 2 or 3, but there was one obstacle that would become my biggest nightmare, dropping in on the half pipe. Man, how can someone manage to drop in on something like that?
In my mind, I thought it was impossible, man. Challenging the laws of gravity with 4 wheels under your feet, that's crazy. But then one day after learning and going down all the other ramps, the only thing left was the half pipe. The teacher was going to show us how to do it. So he demonstrated first, saying there shouldn't be any hesitation, only conviction in your movement. Your whole body in one single motion. He got into position and dropped in smoothly, no problem. Then it was my friend's turn to try. He stepped on, but he wasn't firm and ended up letting the skateboard slip out. If the teacher hadn't caught him, he would have gotten really hurt, man. Damn, what a dumb move. He didn't do what the teacher said. What a fool. So I went up next. I was feeling confident since I saw how it was done, right? I told the teacher I didn't need help since it was impossible to mess up. No need to hold my hand. Trust me, I've got this. I'm a badass. I'm a real badass. So when I got into position and went down, the same thing happened, man. The skateboard slipped out and I went rolling. I scraped myself all over and even hit my face on the ground. That was the biggest lesson I learned. So after weeks of trying, I finally managed to go down the half pipe. Man, what an awesome feeling. Then came other challenges that were even tougher and gave me a lot more bruises all over my body. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, my friends. Tell me in the comments if you've ever skated or tried any other extreme sport. That's it for now, alright? Thanks.
Bye.
Hey my friends, this is Leo, and guys, I'm going to tell you something that happened to me these days, man, recently, you know? It was crazy, check this out. There I was, right on the bus going back home after a tiring, exhausting, traumatic day. I don't even think that word exists. Yeah, anyway, I was heading back, man, and suddenly, dude, I see this old guy, an old man, a senior. He must have been about 70 years old, you know? He had his cap pulled down like this, you could barely see his eyes, and he was drawing the faces of the people on the bus, my friends. That's right, you didn't hear it wrong. The guy was drawing people on the bus. He would look at someone's face and draw the person's face. He was drawing like that the whole time. Sometimes he'd draw one person, then he'd see someone else and draw them. Anyway, he had about 9 drawings there, you know? He was drawing on a cardboard clipboard. He had a piece of cardboard underneath to support it, and he kept drawing with his little pencil. Then an old lady who was sitting next to him got up and went to the back. I noticed the same old lady behind me.
asking for directions to a specific location. I offered to show her the way since I was getting off nearby. She immediately came over to my side. And then she started talking about this guy who was drawing people, drawing their faces. She started talking about the old man that he was drawing people's faces without asking for permission. And in the end, instead of giving the drawing, he kept the drawings. She said he started drawing her little hat. As he approached her face, she quickly moved away and sat behind me. I even became acquainted with the old man. I saw him drawing there and thought I'd be doing the same in the future, but then the old lady came up with a bizarre theory, saying that he would take people's faces. That's right, my friends. What would he do with your face in the end? No one knows. Maybe he had a wall at home with several faces of strangers. The old lady said that this wasn't a good thing, that this was the devil's work, stealing people's faces on the street and taking them home. He could be a lunatic, a maniac. According to her, she doesn't even take pictures with her family, just so people don't have her image. Man, I was actually more scared of the old lady than of the man who was drawing people there, you know? She started coming up with a bunch of crazy theories about it, and I actually got scared. And the old lady was the kind who talked really loud so everyone on the bus could hear, you know? And I was so embarrassed sitting next to her while she was saying all that stuff. She said he was good for drawing police sketches of criminals because if a criminal saw him, they'd be really scared of him. He'd see the criminal's face and redraw the whole thing. And I was like, wow, my God, I just want to get out of here. All because I told her I was getting off near her. My God, I just want to have a peaceful trip. Then when it was time to get off at my stop, I said goodbye to the old lady. She grabbed my hand and started saying the following.
Thank you, my son. You were very kind and attentive to me. Usually people don't listen when I start talking and just walk away, but you were very kind.
All right, ma'am. Thanks, bye. I'm heading out. See you. The things that happened to me on the bus, wow. Has anything weird ever happened to you on the bus? Leave a comment below and I'll read them. Thanks, friends. Like the video and subscribe. I don't know about you, but whenever I depend on luck to help me out, I end up getting screwed. It's been like that my whole life. As soon as I think about it, my first memory is of an episode involving Tazos. For those who don't know, Tazos were prizes we used to get when we bought those snacks, the ones sold at markets and grocery stores. So whenever we bought those snacks, there was a Tazo with a cartoon character, one that we used to watch on television printed on it. It was wild. Everyone I knew from school, the neighborhood, and everywhere else had Tazos. I used to collect those. Hey guys, check out what I just got. I completed my Tazo collection. Wow man, how did you get it? I still have just a few. I'm the king of Tazos. The kids who didn't have money to keep buying snacks that came with Tazos came up with new ways to get them, which was by dueling each other. Each one would put a Tazo face down, making a total of 2 Tazos. Then, someone would take another Tazo and throw it on top of those 2 to try to flip them over. If they flipped, the person would become the owner of those Tazos. I admit, recess became a lot more interesting during that time. Everyone went crazy trying to win Tazos from others who had them. Hey Sabuguinho, I challenge you to a Tazo battle, huh? Not me, I'm above that. I don't submit myself to those competitions. You're scared, you're scared, you're scared. I don't even care, I have all the Tazos. Go on, little corn cob, you're the best. Let's go. Loser, you got nothing left. Woo hoo hoo hoo. There were also the kids who couldn't win any duels or buy anything, so they became Tazo thieves. That's right, my friends.
It was very common to see this kind of thing happening in the classroom.
They took advantage when someone went to the bathroom or had to do something outside the classroom. Sneakily, this little Tazo thief would steal the person's Tazos. But it wasn't all of them. They would take just a few so as not to draw attention. How do I know all this? It happened to me once. I had gone to the bathroom to take a leak. And when I came back, my backpack had a small opening. I always kept my backpack zipped up, but this time it was different. I checked my Tazos to see if they were all there. 3 had been stolen, man. What a drag. I asked around to see if anyone had seen the sneaky little thief. Hey, Sabuguino, did you see anyone messing with my backpack while I was in the bathroom? I didn't see anything. I couldn't always buy snacks to get Tazos, so I tried to get more by dueling. Most of the time, it didn't end the way I wanted. There was this one time I went to play and started losing in an unforgettable way. With each round, I lost another Tazo to my opponent. I don't know what was wrong with me, man. When it was my turn, even when they flipped up, luck just wasn't on my side. But my opponent, right, he succeeded 90% of the time. It was incredible. Had he mastered the perfect Tazo flipping technique? I don't know, my friends. All I know is that on that day, I watched my entire Tazo collection shrink drastically. I had already lost 3 Tazos to some little thief in the class, and now I was left with just 2. Ah, what a drag. At that moment, I felt like real trash. The bandit's horse's poop, the dirt on a beggar's shoe. There was a bitter sadness inside that only those who've been through it know. It's a mix of adrenaline, anger, and sadness. Oh man, that day I gathered up my insignificance and put away the 2 Tazos I had left.
And it didn't stop there, my gracious subscribers. My bad luck in these competitions kept following me over the years. I remember when the card craze hit, the way to duel was similar to Tazos, except you used your own hands. We would slap the stack of cards, and whatever flipped over belonged to the person. The older folks called it baffo. I call it spit slap. That's because some desperate kids like me looking for any way to win would spit on their hands so the saliva's grip would help flip the cards.
But in the end, it just turned into a mess and the game would be suspended because of too much filth.
Dude, look what you did. You spit all over everything.
All or nothing. All. Oh, not this one. That's why I don't like dueling at all, my friends. Not even rock, paper, scissors.
The scars of war are present in my memory, and that's something hard to heal.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and goodbye. Hey my friends, this is Leo, and today I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me back in school. Well, I studied at a really good public school in my city, and when I say good, I mean in every way. There was no overcrowding of students, the teachers were good, the spaces were big, there was an awesome court for physical activities, and the food was amazing, my friends. Seriously, it tasted like restaurant food. No kidding, I liked studying there, but there's always something bad even in a place with all those good qualities. There was something bad, man, some students. Yeah, there were some students in my class who didn't want anything in life. They were total slackers and troublemakers. Besides not studying, they would mess around during class and get in the way of those who wanted to learn. Not that I was a model student, far from it, but it was frustrating to see the teacher trying to move forward with the lesson and those guys just getting in the way, you know? Always talking or doing something stupid. We were in PE class and as usual, there was a little soccer game going on. The 3 troublemakers were on the opposing team and they were losing. They did everything they could to get an advantage in the plays, but in the end, they lost the match. You could tell the terrible trio couldn't handle the defeat, and they left the court right after. My friends and I were happy we won, and we went to the water fountain to cool off because it was really hot, man. The sun was blazing, you know? When we got there, we saw the 3 crazy guys from a distance, with a weird look on their faces like they were plotting something against us.
But up to that point, everything was fine. I grabbed my disposable cup and went to drink some water.
I tasted something different. My friends also noticed this strange taste.
It tasted more like seawater than mineral water. It was salty.
When we looked at them, they started laughing at us, and then they left. Later, we understood what had happened there, my friends. When they left the court, Lucifer's sons went to the water cooler, lifted the jug, and peed in the water as a way to get revenge for losing the game.
Yes, guys. We drank urine water from the Phala, guys.
The final thought for this video is, be careful with what you drink outside your house. I keep thinking, what if instead of pee, they pooped inside the water fountain and we drank that crap? My God, man. People do bad things even without realizing they're bad.
So that's it, my friends. I'm still traumatized to this day. You can see I'm telling the story here. Why? I was traumatized by this stupid act from those satanic creatures. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and bye.